Sam's just topping the bowser up with water. It's something we've been needing to do for a few weeks, but obviously it's been so hot and the chance of wildfires, we're going to fill it up now and make sure it's full. No drought at Everton's football club because they've got irrigation. Just talking about the hedges that we wanted cutting. Andrew's just shaking this grass out by straw henge, and then we'll row it up and bale it later. It's it got mown on Friday and we forgot to ted it. We just remembered now, but realistically we could have probably just rowed it straight up. It's that dry. Quick check of the sunflowers. Got plenty of wildflowers growing within them, and we've got one. There's always one or two. They always end up out before all the others. Anyway, here it is. I think by next week they'll be starting to come out. We'd run out of AdBlue last week, so we ordered it, but it hadn't arrived, and I was conscious that it needed it because if they ran out and didn't deliver it, then we'd be in a mess. So Rob's just been and picked it up. It's only 2 miles away, the place we get it from, so not too bad. So hot, the hose pipe was just kinking there with the heat because it's gone so soft. I just put this on cable tie to stop it sort of like drooping down so we can fill the tank faster. Just come up to inspect the gutters to make sure everything's all right in case we get this thunderstorm. But because it's been so dry, all the moss has died on the roofs and it's all fallen off and come loose and is now filling up this tray. So I can brush all that out, but as soon as it rains, all this loose stuff is going to end up in this valley gutter. So I think it's got a weir in this one, but I'm just going to cut it right out so that I don't want it blocking, so it'll just spill over the edge if that tube ever blocks up. The solar panels are absolutely filthy as well. We're going to have to come up with a way of cleaning them. I did buy that little remote control thing, but I think it'd take too long. I've swept the channel out now, so we've just got this pile here now to scoop out. It's pretty good, this roof though, because you can walk down this metal bit all the way from one end to the other, and then obviously you've got timbers under here and timbers under there, so you don't have to go anywhere near the fragile bit of the roof. But yeah, I'm going to cut that V out now. It brought me a whizzer. And then if anything does come off this roof with all this dry stuff, it can overflow that way onto the yard. There's a problem with valley gutters, but planning policy means that they want all the sheds together. There we go, bit rough, but I'd sooner have water spilling on the yard than in the grain sheds. This roof is much better, less moss because it's younger, but it's still got this stuff that's got a bit crusty in the bottom of the gutter, and that can block the downspouts. So I'm just going to brush this out as well. It's pretty hot on the roof, absolutely zero shade. It'll wash now because ITV are coming in a minute to film something about the hot weather. Should have got them on the roof and showed them what you have to work in if you're not in an aircon cab. James is playing with his Peter Rabbit. He's only got a nappy on today because it's so hot. You gonna smile? No.
You laughing? You laughing? Yeah.
Just testing the downspout for these 2 buckets of water. Check that they're running. There we go. That'll do. We've got the ITV drone up now, looking at the field of wheat behind the yard that's dried. It's died because of the hot weather. We'll be combining that this week. Joe's here now and we're going to film combining oilseed rape before it gets too dry. There we go, Joe's just tipping it over the hedge now, getting into this field. So that's something you don't see when I'm driving it, but it looks better from the outside.
Right there?
Yeah, fine. Trying it. Is the side knife working today? definitely a lot riper than the other day. The straw coming out the back's more yellow than green. Now that's the camera. Done the filming now, I'm just catching the combine up. I'm trying to walk through these stalks that are the height that hurts you. Jump on, take over from Joe. I've just been running, so I'll probably sound slightly out of breath. But it is 32 degrees so far. Yeah, I don't think that's supposed to look like that. Yeah, so the camera crew were in a hurry, so I jumped on the combine and was pushing it on a bit. The oilseed rape is sort of dry on the top because it's just baking in this extreme heat, but the stalks are still green and chewy. It's quite a high biomass crop, this variety that Bill and Joe have grown. So we've been trying to like stuff it in the front anyway. That the auger on the front's just jammed up a bit too many times, and it's took its toll on the drive shaft. The heat's probably not helping because the metal's obviously quite malleable as well. So we're going to go and see what's wrong with it completely and see how easy it is to fix. I think it's just the shaft. I don't think the universal joint's gone. Just going to take these Allen keys out now, get to this plate because this is where the shaft goes on. Undo it, see what's going on. Don't really put these screws in, but they put them in tight and they're rounding off to get them off. Anyway, it's so hot now with the sun beating down. Gordon's going to go and get the seed sock. We're going to put it over the top of the reel, make a tent so that we're not got the sun beating down on us while we get in here and take the shaft off. Just undone that tuber clip, which was a bit of a pain because it was up here. So we spun it around a bit, undone that, and then hope that shaft will pop off and we can see what's going on. The other side came out fairly easy. So we'll go and strip the shaft down. Hopefully we just need this tube. Yeah, so that's just twisted itself up now. So we're going to undo that screw, take the guard off, get it out the UJ. Got the shaft, just going to take a spare one of them back in case we damage it taking the old one out. So it's upstairs in the loft. Got some string while I was there as well. Remember, a seed sock has many uses, including keeping you in the shade when you're taking a shaft off the combine. Got Bill and Joe's seed sock on the reel there, stopping the sun. Car's reading 36 degrees where I am now, and at the other yard, the temperature gauge in the field is reading 33.6 degrees. Sorry, no, 34.6 degrees. The cap issue.
As soon as one falls down.
Get that cap out of there like this, ready? Stick the price in there now. That looks a bit better now than that piece. Put it back together with the original UJ. I have got a spare there if I need it. Just feels a little bit tight in that plane. That side just feels alright, so I'm in two minds whether to it'll free off because it's just been apart or whether to just swap it. Looks like someone over there has got a fire. Bill, unloading some straw. Just thought I'd show you this to scale. That's the kind of size of the stuff I'm cutting. You can see why that shaft takes a bit of stick. The shaft that broke drives that middle bit with the retractable fingers just there. Anyway, we're just running it up now without the guards on, just to see if it gets warm, because I wasn't too happy with the universal joint. And I'm going to stop it in a minute, shut it down, see if it's got warm. And if it hasn't, I'll leave it. It might have just freed off a bit because it's got too much grease in it. If it has got warm, we'll take the shaft on and swap it for a new UJ. Got a new moisture meter. Tim's just fitting it now. I was messing with that shaft. Yeah, we ran it up, it wasn't warm, but Class are doing that moisture meter, so while they're doing that, we're just going to put the new parts on, the new spicer and the new joint, because James is here pointing out that maybe there's a slight twist to the yellow yoke, and once it's under load then it'll just overheat the bearings and fail on us, so we don't want that. So we're going to just put the new parts in rather than bodge it and then get back out so we don't get a breakdown another day. It's 36 degrees as well, which I think is an all-time high for us. Some power in that to twist it like 180 degrees. This is a pain to get on when you've with the guard in the place, because you can't hold it up square. So James has been one side pushing, Gordon's been here holding the guard back, and I've been pulling it. We've got it on 1/2 inch. But without the guard, it just slid on off easy. Gordon's busy as ever, and Joe's got a t-shirt on. I said it's old and he needs a new agri contract one. And then we realised that I've got a t-shirt from 2003, which is actually older than Kim, because she was born in December. And I got the t-shirt in 2003, June, in Gran Canaria. I don't know if you can see, but this field's flat. You can see all the up and down like waves. And then over there stood up, because there's a compost trial been on this field for 2 years now. So half the field from about there this way is spread with compost, and that side isn't. Anyway, it's obviously had a little bit too much nitrogen in it, and it's grown too tall and fell over. So we'll look at the yield maps when we've finished. This is here, picking up the Your Harvest sign. Don't forget, hashtag Your Harvest. Show your pictures till the field finished. Just gonna drop the tank down now. Right, for some reason, all them seagulls are circling over the graveyard. So what are they doing? Are they catching insects or something? They've been doing it for about an hour. Just quickly called at Brookhouse because Mark's been painting the hot tub. It looks great. The only thing is he's not painted the shelf because the shelf fell off and it's over here. Oh well, I'll have to paint that again. But yeah, looks good. Sort of matches that now. Amazing sunset. So while I've been fixing the combine in 36 degrees, it got up to today, lads have put the rest of this steelwork up. So I don't know who had the worst job, fixing the combine or putting the steelwork up in the heat, but it's looking good now. They've started belting some of the apexes together as well over here. We didn't think we were going to do anything this week, but concreting Richard was doing for someone else, he's not doing now because I think it was too hot. I didn't even think it had cracked, gone off too quick. So that apex is now bolted together. So that will be going up probably tomorrow, and maybe the rest of them as well. Then we've got to get some timber work on, get the roof sorted. It's taking shape now though. Bowser's full, but it's sprung a leak as it's got fuller, so I don't know if we can get some more silicone on that there. Just dripping, but at least we've got plenty of water if something happens. Looks like this extreme heat has got to the Massey 1200 tyre. I don't know whether it's split or what, but the tyre has now gone flat. It's probably expanded the heat inside when it's warmed up and popped it. There's so many crazy things in this weather, just like being on the roof this morning, sorting them gutters out. Stuff that you wouldn't think would happen in this country is now starting to happen. The dryer is completely finished working through all the barley, so that is now swept out, ready for doing wheat or any oilseed rape if we have to do it. The birthday bumper is here tonight, out of the way of where we're building the shed. So Steve and Maria, happy 30th wedding anniversary. Lee Cookson, Carl Johan, I think, Andy Harrison, Sean Branchflower, James Barrett and Ralph Kirk. Happy birthday to everyone on there and anyone else whose birthday it is today. That is all for today. What is the highest temperature though that you have all seen today? I've seen 36 on our own weather station, but I know some people have said that they've seen 35.5, 36.5 on the dashboards. What has yours been? Leave it in the comments and let's see who's been in the hottest place in the UK today. Anyway, thanks for watching and I will see you tomorrow. Actually, just one last thing, be careful everyone. I've heard that a spark off a baler hitting a flint on the pickup reel has set 25 acres or 30 acres of barley on fire, which is obviously like horrendous because that's a huge area, that's a pretty big fire. So just be dead careful everywhere because everything is just so dry at the moment. Anyway, that is the end. See you tomorrow.